Now, the mid-year slump got you feeling drained at this point, but let's delve deeper into this. Fatigue, or is it more than ordinary tiredness, or is it a pervasive feeling of burnout, relentless exhaustion, and mysterious energy dips? Trying to find out what it is, unlike everyday tiredness that a nap can fix, fatigue often stems from deeper lifestyle, well-being, or health issues needing medical insight. It also affects both mind and body, signaling issues beyond post-work or post-gym exhaustion. So to help us better understand this, we're joined by a general practitioner, Doctor Rachelle Toi. Dr. Toi, thank you so much for your time and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how does one describe fatigue, and how does it actually differ from just ordinary tiredness, and what are some of the key indicators that one is needing more than just rest?
So fatigue anybody can have. It's a regular response from a human being to feel tired of a long day's work and that they want to take some rest. And that's completely normal. But for somebody who is going into the burnout phase, this is characterized by three different things. And this includes having mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion. This is secondary to prolonged stress, and this is usually the first sign of burnout. The second thing is that this then leads to emotional blunting or detachment at work. So you're just going through the motions. And then the third thing is that this then leads to work performance that has decreased. And this is when the average things that would take you maybe 2 hours are now taking you 3 or 4 hours to achieve. And at the end of the day, the reward is nothing compared to what it used to be.
So what are some of the underlying health conditions or lifestyle factors that would contribute to burnout or what patients think is fatigue?
So there are common medical conditions that need to be excluded to make sure that the patient is not predisposed to having any sort of thing that's going to give them more fatigue than normal. And these things include things like anemia and thyroid conditions. However, we have noticed that there is an increased amount of fatigue and burnout, specifically in high-performance workplaces. And this is due to the high demand that's at these workplaces. So the expectations can sometimes be way too high. People are not given the resources to achieve the required goal that they're supposed to meet, and now it's getting towards the end of the year. Everybody has these requirements that they're supposed to meet before closing. There's usually too much work and not enough staff. There's sometimes a very toxic environment at work, so colleagues, superiors, they don't get along, and this makes it very difficult for people to communicate with their superiors about what's going on. And then, of course, the no work-life balance. The boundaries have been completely blurred, especially, how many times do people take their work laptop home? They have access to email. They have access to their business WhatsApp. And this makes it very easy for the expectation to be that, you know what, when things are required of you after hours, you can still respond. And then we definitely cannot ignore the fact that in South Africa, we have a lot of interrupted utilities. So the load shedding, the water cuts, this causes significant strain and significant stress amongst people. And this is not only limited to high performance workplaces. This is also for students, for those who are studying, because they are still expected to make a plan when they have exams or when they have homework.
Dr. Roy, the end of year slump, is this a real thing, or is it just something that we imagine?
No, the end of year slump it's a very real thing. And like I said, the expectations at the end of the year are significant. People have been giving 100% capacity the whole year. And now the demands are usually more than the average person, or there are these deadlines that people are expected to meet. And so now you don't have that 100% capacity anymore. You only have maybe 50, 60%, but you're expected to still give that 100%. And this is how a lot of people end up getting burnt out.
So how do we manage that? What can we do? Are there some strategies that one can employ to try and mitigate for what you're going through?
So there are definitely certain things that you can do. The first thing would be to target it on a personal level. This would mean that somebody can help maintain their stress levels, definitely to eat better, to try and get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, And not only the amount of sleep, but to be able to get rested sleep. And those are two very different things. The other thing is that they need to continue to do their hobbies. The whole goal of all these things is to essentially fill your cup. The whole concept of you cannot give from an empty cup is a very real one. And I find a lot of patients are consistently giving when they have nothing. And the only person who's going to invest in yourself is going to be you. The second thing is that the workplace is a very important part in this whole place. So things like creating a safe environment in the workplace where patients or so employees can actually come and talk to you about things. You reduce the stigma around mental health, then they will they will open up to you. And also things like managing workloads, giving them the correct resources to achieve their goals, offering certain work from home or hybrid work from home and going into the office situations, which isn't always possible, but sometimes it is. And that we've seen that definitely helps a lot of our patients when they have that option to work from home instead of having that stressful environment of going into the office every day. Things like showing recognition and appreciation to employees. And then one of the most important things is actually to give wellness programs to equip employees with the skills to manage burnout. Now, these wellness programs are very, very important. It helps their employees help identify, manage, and prevent the burnout from happening. And I'm actually creating a program with our psychologist, Grant Strong, and this program is to deal with exactly that type of thing.
So much to discuss here, especially when you think of how we almost pride ourselves in being hard workers, that we push ourselves to the limit. But we do have a question from one of our viewers, Dr. Roy, if we can just quickly pull that up. This one here is from Kolisi, and Kolisi says, it seems fatigue is slowly becoming another pandemic. Hence, our shelves are full of different kinds of cheap energy drinks with very high caffeine content. Can fatigue be mistaken with depression, Dr. Roy? That's from Kolisi.
So definitely. So the difference is that fatigue is something that's usually overcome. You can have fatigue and rest or take a vacation. And once you come back, you feel rejuvenated and you feel like you can continue. With depression, it's very different. If I have a patient who has depression, that sort of fatigue is part of the depression, but it's something that doesn't go away. So what happens is, for instance, if I give you a holiday to go to the Bahamas, somebody who's fatigued will go on the holiday and feel completely well rested when they come back. But if you send a depressed person on a Bahamas holiday, they don't care if they're on a holiday. They are just in their mind thinking about everything that's going on. So fatigue is part of depression, and they are very, very interlinked, but they are completely different.
Well, unfortunately, we have to leave it there, but food for thought there, Dr. Roy. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have opportunity to discuss more of these factors. But thank you so much, Dr. Rachelle Toi there. Dr. Rachelle Toi speaking to us about what we perceive to be an end-of-year slump. And she says it is a very real thing, but also drawing the distinction, as per the question there from Kolisi, between what fatigue is, and depression, and just the overall ordinary tiredness that we go through. Dr. Toi trying to distinguish for us in terms of what it is that we might be dealing with. Thank you so much for your engagement on that as well. Right, we need to take another quick break.